Good afternoon, everybody. It is the 19th of November. It is actually very cold outside right now. It is 4 degrees Celsius with a low of about -6 tonight. And it's going to be cold for the next 2 or 3 days. It's going to warm up a tiny bit after that, but then it's going to get cold again. So I wanted to talk about weather instead of technology because after all, that is my job. I am the North American Snow Queen. And we're getting close to my season, so it's time to start turning our focus to weather instead of technology. And so we will start with the weather first, and then there is some recaps on the technologies that we'll discuss that in the end. It's going to be getting cold enough now you have to worry about hypothermia, frostbite, and frostnip. And it's nothing to be ashamed about when you can be honest. If you don't have the proper winter gear, you're going to potentially end up dead. The first thing is, a lot of people tend to forget that back when we were in the African plains, many years ago, our ancestors had a very thick coating of fur on us to keep us warm for those cold nights. Like this guy has. Now, maybe not quite as long as his, but you know what I'm saying. And the fur that we had, we lost when we started wearing clothing. The only remains of the fur we have is the fur on our head, some fur on our legs, in our pubic areas, and for some people, unfortunately, a little bit of fur on the face. And that's about all we have left now of our body of any significance. Even the limited amount of fur on our arms is so sparse that this really does not insulate you at all from cold. Now, the two things that really can exacerbate the problem of the actual physical temperature of cold. The first is being wet, and the second one is wind. If you put a person outside in the cold and there's no wind and they're dry, their body will do better off than if they were wet, or it's windy, or they're wet and windy. Never mind if you're wearing wet, soggy clothes that are soaked through. You're really asking for hypothermia that way. You can get hypothermia even at 20 degrees Celsius. I'm not kidding you. Room temperature, you can get hypothermia in it. How is that possible? Well, basically because if you're wet, say for example you just got out of a swimming pool and it got a strong gusty breeze, that wet water on your skin and that breeze is going to make you lose that slight little insulation barrier that the warmth of your body produces to keep you warm. Granted, it's not very fantastic system, and it's okay, but it's not great either. But it is something our body has been doing for thousands of years, and this is really more of a problem, especially for people who have to be outdoors. Construction workers, the homeless especially, are really ill prepared for this because they have no guarantee that they're going to have clothing or housing or anything or any kind of shelter. And as a community, we need to make sure to protect those who can't protect themselves. That's one of the reasons I strongly encourage you to get in contact with your local chapter of the Red Cross, as well as your soup kitchen and your clothing bank for the homeless and those who are in need. Because there is really no reason in modern age anybody should freeze to death. It just isn't making any sense to me to see it happen. When you see that you have people buying expensive clothing, and yet the poor guy, the beggar sitting outside, think about the guy in the Salvation Army, the bell ringers. I mean, they're very lucky they got a jacket on, the gloves on if they're outdoors, and they're kept warm. But now imagine that poor guy, if you took away his jacket, imagine if you had his life, if you took away his gloves or his hat, and you got your homeless population right there. They're freezing, they're cold. And with the wind that's blowing right now outside, it's very easy for the body to go into hypothermia. Doesn't even take much work at all. Even I was cold for me. I went out there and I just was going across the street to Cumberland Farms to get my coffee. So obviously, what it comes down to is that to avoid hypothermia, which is definitely life-threatening, or frostbite, severe frostbite, which is limb-threatening, because you can lose your fingers, you can lose your arm, you can lose your legs to frostbite. Oh, why does that happen? Why does that happen? It happens because your body has 3 layers of type of systems to try to protect itself from freezing to death. The first one is severe shivering. Okay, but the body realizes that you only can shiver so much, and it ain't gonna necessarily help if you're not at least trying to take care of the problem. So then your body does the next step, which is much worse. Serious problems start to come in, which is it starts to cut the blood flow to your extremities, fingers, arms, legs, toes, ears, nose, whatever, to protect the core. That's your trunk of your body. This big barrel part of your body, the trunk where all your vital organs is. That is to your body's the head, the brain area needs lots of warm blood too, but that's one of the reasons why our body has the system that it does. It's willing to sacrifice its fingers and its toes and its foot and its hands and arms and legs to protect the head and to protect the torso, because that's to our body's consideration is important. It's the most important thing. So the first thing that we have to ask ourselves is, how can we prevent frostbite and frostnip? First, get out of the cold if you can. Okay, that's the first thing. Second of all, stay dry if you are in the cold, if you have no choice. And get some decent gloves and a jacket and a hat to protect your body by allowing it to keep some heat inside. Because if you don't have gloves, jacket, and a hat, and you don't have fur like Mr. Kitty Cat here, you are going to potentially be risking your life, and that would be uncool. So, but to help those in need, it would be wonderful. To do that, it's very simple. If you can't put a person up in your home for whatever reason, and unfortunately it does happen, at least help them by providing, donations and charitable gifts to charitable organizations such as the Salvation Army, the Goodwill, the United Way, and of course to your local soup kitchen, which also helps the homeless with meals and often with clothing. In addition to encourage the development of a homeless shelter in your area to keep these people warm and safe, because that's what they need. If you live in an area that's kind of rural, maybe you don't have enough people for a shelter, but could you give them a tent? Could you give them a sleeping bag? Could you give them a jacket, some hat, gloves? At least give them those things, and they will probably be better off than if you got nothing at all. It's disgusting. We live in this society in the United States where you have all of this money. You see people buying fancy things like fancy cars and Gucci handbags and, heavy down jackets, for, status symbols. While the poor homeless guy is starving. This is disgusting, and we gotta do something about that. This is, a very important thing to me. This is one of the most important things I have to address to you. Don't be the one that says, I don't care. Be the one that says, I do care, but I can't do as much, but let me give what I can, helping those in need. Because right now, there's a lot more people who have lost their houses, who have lost their apartments, who have lost their entitlement program benefits, and those people need your help. It's not their fault that they're homeless. It just happens to be the luck of the draw. Basically, for the majority of the people, they didn't even have a choice to be homeless or not. Those who chose to be homeless by choice, they probably have already got all the materials that they need. In other words, they already stocked up on blankets, especially if they grew up in the northern states in Canada. You know it's cold out here. You know that. And so for you already have a jacket and gloves and boots, and you know how to keep dry and how to keep warm and how to keep safe. But if you're from the southern states and you end up being placed up here, it is not like Miami. When you think 60 degrees Fahrenheit is cold, it's not. When you see temperatures in Fahrenheit go down to the 20s, that's like minus 10, minus 15 degrees Celsius. You damn well are going to learn what real cold is. Because just like Bridget Fonda said on the Snow Queen from Hallmark Movie Channel, real cold will kill you dead. Just like that. It's not something that I would encourage you to take lightly. So if you see someone struggling with the cold, offer to help them. Give them, at least, if they need a ride to the homeless shelter, give them that. If they don't, but they don't have a homeless shelter, maybe offer them a pack of gloves, a hat, a jacket. Trust me, a clean, warm jacket will do wonders. And that's what you should be trying to do to help our all fellow men and women and children too. Because the largest population of homeless are children. They're finding themselves with their families being displaced from their homes. I don't want to hear any more people dying from exposure. I really don't. I want to see you and all of us together to pull our resources together and solve the problem. Many years ago, we had a song to help people in Africa from USA for Africa called We Are the World. Well, that song still applies, honey. Now it should be USA for USA. We are the world. We are the children. We got to help those people who can't help themselves. It's instinctual. It is instinctual. It's part of the moral law given by Mother and Father God. Now, that's enough of that. The point is, it's going to be getting cold, and you better be dressing warmly and help those in need. Now, the next few things we're going to be talking about really quickly, because I already rehashed this on the other videos, and I'm not going to go too much detail on it, is we will be having the new camera should be coming, probably we'll order it in early December, and hopefully we'll have it here by the convocation, December 21st, 2013. That's universal coordinated time at midnight. Actually, the taping will occur at 7 p.m. on December 20th. Also, the Soup Kitchen is scheduled to be open on December 21st here in Winston. So, I will be there in my official role as a North American Snow Queen, of course, I'll be wearing my attire for office. You know, the stuff I wear for state occasions, and so you'll be able to see me in there. And I'll be more than willing to sit down and talk with anybody who wants to talk to me. I've always said that to you. Just like with these videos here. Don't be afraid to leave me comments. I want to hear from you. I want to talk to you. I want to know how you're feeling in your life. And so that's about it for right now. And by the way, when the camera does come, we will be doing a comparison between the two cameras pictures. Now, obviously, there is going to be one big difference. The new camera is a 700 TVL and versus 480 TVL for this Panasonic CP234, which has been a good camera. I don't disagree with that, but it is old, and it's, you know, not getting younger. I'm not getting younger either. So, by the way, that's another thing. Make sure to check on the elderly, especially, because they really get cold really easy. And so I don't really want to focus specifically on cameras and lenses and all that on these videos. Was never the intention of the videos. The intention of these videos was to discuss my work as a North American Snow Queen. All that stuff was supplemental. Okay? It's not essential. It's not the reason for the video. As we get for 9 months out of the year, just to understand this, I have nothing to do. I have to come up with topics. Okay? But once we start Yule until Ostara, I will be focusing on weather work. And that means figuring out the amount of snow, how much cold, how much rain is necessary for the areas that I serve, which is pretty big. It's all of United States except for Texas. Texas is, I gave control to the South American steward. So I do United States, Canada, and southwestern Greenland. That's a large area. That's a lot of territory to cover. But I do it because I love it. I love working the weather. I am endorsed by Mother Asna. I am one of the 7 winter weather stewards of the world. Me and the 2 other northern climate weather stewards, Frija and Tanaya, will be very busy trying to keep things from getting too far out of control. And we gotta find a balance, and that's what we do. And we do that because we love doing it. And don't forget, like I said before in my videos, you can always leave me a comment, and always do like and subscribe to my channel, and share my videos everywhere. Let everybody see them. I take a lot of time, I spend a lot of my money to make these videos because I love you, and I want to see you get ahead and stay warm and stay safe every year. Well, that's about it for now. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them right in the area down there in the comment section, and I will read them. If you want to send me private email or US mail, the information is in the information below this video. Okay? So I will talk to you soon. Bye bye, everybody.